Well, hey everybody, it's your good buddy 650 Eve here, and I'm at State 8 Motorcycles in Ohio. And today, I'm finally going to collect my 2022 Suzuki Hayabusa. It's right over there. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, tap that bell, and you'll get notified when I upload new content. Just look at this gorgeous beast, one of the best colors that they offer for the 2022 model year. And this is my official unboxing video. The motorcycle has 1 mile on it the last time I checked. Let's check that again as we take a look at those gorgeous new gauges with the Hayabusa logo. Yes, just 1 mile on this machine right now. And I'm about to put a bunch of miles on it and ride this thing. The last time I rode a Hayabusa, I believe, was my good buddy Turbo Warren's Hayabusa many years ago. And although I was impressed with the speed of that and the comfort of that motorcycle, the suspension and the brakes and a couple other things were a bit lacking. So I'm going to find out if the improvements they made for the 2022 Busa have actually taken effect here in just a second. So don't you worry, folks, because the motorcycle will not be stock for very long. We've got some awesome parts coming from our good friends at Brock's Performance and Miami Manny at Motul Million, of course. And this thing is going to look even more gorgeous than it does right now. I've already been walking around the bike and taking a look at a few things. Check out the Hayabusa logo in the, inside of the LED light system there. I think that looks absolutely great. I also like the mirrors on this machine. I saw that when my good buddy Adam Wahid was doing a track press launch video on the bike. I noticed how awesome those mirrors looked when he was riding the bike. As I swing a leg over this thing, and yeah, they look great. I like that. Kind of reminds me of an exotic car sort of stock there for the mirrors. But yeah, there's a few things that I'm digging about this bike. All of the lights on this machine are full light emitting diode LED. They look great. I even like the rear section of the machine. Looks absolutely outstanding. Okay, so we're here at State 8 Motorcycles, and I ran into my good buddy that has a ZX14 2021, and now you can see these two epic motorcycles right next to each other, and we can do a bit of a comparison. Let's start with the gauges. Look at the gauges on the ZX14. LCD up there on the very top, okay, but they both are analog speedometer, analog tachometer. We take a look at the new gauges on the Busa. Much improved, full color, thin film transistor in the center, but we still have the analog on the side. So this man already has an exhaust, a Voodoo exhaust. He's got the 2 canisters on the machine. Of course, mine's going to have the Brock's Performance CZ megaphone, full titanium exhaust. Only 1 canister is going to be on the right hand side. It's going to look amazing, but this thing sounds great. Very crisp throttle. That's funny. The tachometer on this bike is on the right side. The tachometer on the Busa is on the left. I will tell you this. The Busa's throttle feels more firm. Okay, so I got the bike home from State 8 Motorcycles, and now it's time for me to give it its first ride. I just can't stop looking at the thing. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. And I've never been a super fan of the styling of the Busas, especially the first gen. Second gen was okay. Like Megatron that my son Evan has, it's an okay looking bike, but this one, it looks beautiful. Much improved styling from front to back. Man, that's just great. Integrated turn signals, front and back. I didn't even know they can get away with that in the United States, but somehow Suzuki has integrated turn signals, LED, front and back. Look at that. That's great. But all that's fine and dandy. Let's see how this thing rides. So a lot of people have been complaining about the horsepower numbers from this beautiful 3rd gen Busa and how they compare to the 2nd gen bike. Well, I don't know about the horsepower. I tell you what though, this bike has a massive amount of torque to get this big behemoth moving down the road. Even in its stock form, of course, the
There's a lot of limitations on this machine, but I tell you, it's fast. It's got a lot of grunt right off the line. And the suspension is a lot better than I remember. I mean, it's not great. It's not a super bike. It's more of a super sport tour, and therefore it has that nice, friendly, I want to call it, suspension feel. But it's nice. I mean, you go over bumps and it doesn't feel like the bike wants to eject you. If you like you were an F-16 pilot or something in distress. And that auto blip and that quick shift, they are fantastic. In typical Suzuki form, they've always had silky smooth transmission gearboxes. Quick shift and auto blip has always been great, and it's not disappointing here either. But what is very nice is that torque you get from this beast. It's even more dramatic than it is on my modified 323 horsepower on pump fuel Kawasaki Ninja H2. I tell you, this bike has more torque in stock form. Wow. So, you know, as I'm stuck behind the slow-moving truck here, I can tell you that the throttle is very smooth. You know, even in stock condition here. And sometimes when you get on the motorcycle, there's only been a couple bikes out of all the ones I've ridden over the years that have had really twitchy and filth-like throttles, stock throttles, and this bike is not one of them. It is really smooth. And the gauges are nice too. I only have 6 miles on the bike so far, but these gauges are wonderful. I particularly like the analog fuel gauge. You know, my M1000RR has a digital fuel gauge. That's nice, but there's just a really coolness and retro feeling from this analog gauge here on the left. Yeah, I can tell this is going to be a very nice bike, especially once we get it modified. But I can also tell you that it's going to be nice just to ride in stock form. I don't usually like riding bikes when they're stock, but this one could be one that I'll enjoy, especially for long trips. So I made a left turn about a half mile ago, and I'm looking for self-canceling turn signals, and I'm not seeing it on the Busa. That's a bit of a disappointment, and I'll tell you why. And that is because Suzuki should be trying to capture guys like me, guys that ride the premium bikes, that want to step into the Busa, do something a little different, but we like the creature comforts from our premium bikes. Well, little stuff like self-canceling turn signals, heated grips, you know, quick shift auto blip, which this bike does have, and cruise control, which the bike also has, but it does not have heated grips or self-canceling turn signals, as I'm still staring at a left turn signal that I activated over a mile ago. Now, having said that, the bike is still very fun and engaging to ride at this point. So I cancel those turn signals there, yeah. And that burst of power that you get from the massive torque almost makes up for some of the missing creature comforts. I mean, I can always install a set of aftermarket heated grips with this bike, which I will want to do, because this is the type of bike that you're going to want to ride when the weather is a little cool, you know, because it's just fun, it's enjoyable, it's comfortable. So I might want to ride it when it's 40 degrees Fahrenheit, you know? And heated grips would definitely help that out. So, I'm not a big fan of these old school reservoirs for the brake fluid and clutch fluid. That kind of sucks. Hopefully I can put some Rizoma clear reservoirs there to replace that. I'm seeing a bunch of wiring, as you guys see here. There's lots of wiring wrapped in cheap plastic. It's nice that it's, you know, it's sort of tucked and out of the way, but it's still in my line of sight. And, you know, from a premium buyer ownership experience, I don't really see this filth on my other bikes. So, yeah. You know, having said that, you guys might be calling me a big 225-pound crybaby, but I gotta tell you, if there is gripes to be had about a motorcycle like this, mine are a bit petty, and this is still a fantastic machine. My good buddy Adam, he informed me that Suzuki designed this motorcycle for riders taller than 6 feet, and I can tell because I'm 6'3", and it is extremely comfortable for me. You know, it's very nicely designed. There's lots of places for me to, look at that, for me to tuck, get a taller windscreen, and I'll be good to go. This thing's nice. I'm sure smaller folks would enjoy it as well. But it's nice to finally have a motorcycle that accommodates big, wide, and tall people like me. Perhaps when we get it modified, maybe I won't get slayed as much. One of the things the Hayabusa was obviously designed for, highway cruising, it seems to work out very well. All of the time they spent developing this bike in wind tunnels and all that stuff paid off. Because now it is really comfortable to just cruise around on the highway on this machine. And that's what a lot of the Busa owners will probably do with their bikes. You know, the ones that are setting them up for drag racing and street smackdowns and stuff. The other folks are going to take long trips and have really engaging fun with this bike on the highways. And it's working well for that. Even the suspension floating over these bumps. The bumps, you know, that really shouldn't exist on the highway, but they do. Works out pretty nice on this bike.
Okay, so I got the first 50 miles or so on the new Busa, and what do I think? I think it's a great bike. I really like it. 47 miles. But I think it's a nice bike. For what it is, a big super sport cruising machine. Very, very nice. It fits in nicely with the rest of the bikes. It's a lot different. It's night and day different as of right now from the Ninja H2, but I can tell that this bike has enormous potential. Once the ECU is unlocked, once all the performance mods get done to this bike, it is going to be absolutely brilliant and savage on these filthy but delightful streets. But for right now, even in stock form with those beautiful LED headlights, turn signals and everything, the bike is just nice. Quick shift auto blip's great. The brakes, man, it's about time they freaking fix that braking issue. The brakes are exceptional on this machine as it sits right now. Man, I'm loving it. So stay tuned for more content on this beautiful Hayabusa on the channel because we've got awesome plans for this bike coming up real soon. All right, folks, thanks for viewing this video, and I'll catch you next time on the 650 Eve YouTube channel. What a great machine.